Good morning. Hope you guys had an amazing morning. Hope you joined us on Closers Club this morning. We had Matt Smith on, and if you guys have watched Undercover Billionaire Season 2 with Grant Cardone, Matt Smith was the gentleman that kind of gave Grant his shot and gave Grant kind of the platform to go out there and create his $5.5 million evaluation for the biz. But today I'm really excited. I have a good friend of mine that agreed to come online to tell us his story, because today on Millionaire Brand Creation, we're going to talk about agent transformation. And a lot of you obviously want to go from point A to point B. And the gentleman that I'm bringing on is an agent partner of mine. He's made a lot of transformations in his life and is still in transition of making more to become more successful. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to my friend and agent partner, Mike Hill. Mike, are you on?
I am here. Michael, how are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you doing? How was your trip to Tennessee?
It was super. Great to be back and see my niece's wedding and visit my family. Good times.
Good, good. So you've obviously listened to Millionaire Brand Creation a few times. We talked a few weeks ago to get you on and highlight you, which I'm super excited about. But tell us about your background. Tell us about what was your childhood like? What made you want to get into real estate?
Well, thank you. Let me just go ahead and start by saying, Michael, thank you for allowing me to come on your podcast. And I can speak for myself and many other people too that we really love this content that you bring every week, and it's just very empowering. So thank you again for letting me come on. Childhood. So let's see. You heard Tennessee. I'm originally from Tennessee. Still have the accent a little bit. Been out here in Arizona for 23 years now. So I moved out here in '97. And after I took a Plan B trip after not going to graduate school and physical therapy school, I entered the golf industry, and I played a little bit semi-pro out in the western states. And after playing for a while, I actually landed at a private club here in North Scottsdale where I taught members, and I got to network with a lot of people. These were in my early 20s, 22, 23. And I'd always had a knack and a yearning for real estate, been exposed to it back in Tennessee, and just one thing led to another. Met a few people, and I started transitioning into golf course development and property management, and I ended up getting my license in '99 in Arizona, and stayed with a well-known brokerage for about 6 months, and I saw a new technology that was coming out, and I was actually one of the founding agents of that brokerage back in 2000, and they here locally have about 8,000 agents now. But fast forward now, my journey is that I've partnered with you, Michael, and I wanted to expand my horizons and challenge myself a little bit more. I'd also been in the commercial real estate arena and commercial valuation, and I'm bringing those talents and other things to what we're going to continue to grow here and share some things with people here on the podcast today.
So my biggest question is, and I know we've stressed this many, many times on the podcast, we're talking about branding, right? So you're an agent, you're doing your own thing, you're with another successful brokerage, and I think this is important for people looking to attract more business into their lives, whether it be buyer and sellers or agent attraction. What was it about me? What was it about the branding? What was it about the social media that initially got you even interested in saying, maybe I should learn more about this?
Sure. Well, this was definitely pre-COVID. So I was working on a few other ventures with consulting and healthcare medical space. And while I was still licensed, I wanted to step outside and challenge myself, and I shared with you that back in 2017, late 2017 through 2019, I was looking at 4 particular agents and brokers and broker teams here in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area, and I just liked your polished look. It really resonated with me, and a sharp dressed guy. You articulate yourself very well. Some traits that I have, and I wanted to latch onto that and reached out. We had some conversations. We knew several mutual friends here in the industry and in the area, and started taking a look not only at your social media presence but others as well. And again, like I said, it just there was a resonation with that, and I just wanted to reach out with you, and we visited, and we've known each other, a little over a year and a half now, but socially outside from friends in the social media space, probably about two and a half years.
So the thing that always excites me, when I talk to agents and hear your story and other people's stories, is taking away from that. What do you think are some things that agents listening in from across the U.S. and beyond can maybe do to become attractors in their markets? Let's say you're an agent, you're putting yourself out there. What are some things that maybe you've learned or you saw in me or you saw in other brokerage opportunities that you're like, I'm attracted to that? What are some things they can do today?
The big thing is that I believe when someone asks a question, what they want to become, who they want to become, how they want to grow, really the first thing that you really need to invest in is yourself. And not enough people do hear that, but I really have heavily invested in personal mindset groups, which require an allocation of funds to be a part of that and to learn and grow. Step outside your comfort boundaries. I know that's easy to say, but the thing that limits people in succeeding and moving forward in whatever career that they choose to move forward in is they have a limiting belief. They have a fear. They have judgment issues. Oh, what's this person going to say about me if I do this? And there's a lot of naysayers out there. There are a lot of people, who just they don't want to see you succeed. But the thing about it is, you got to be stronger. You got to step outside of that. You have to be drawn to people and search out people that you want to surround yourself with, the like-mindedness to latch onto and to leverage that. And there's a lot of power and leverageability, and you and I talk about this a lot, and you share it through many of your speaking engagements in your podcast. So it's excellent points.
So thank you for that. And I also think, this whole topic today is how can we help educate agents and empower them to be more successful in their businesses? I think the best way to do that is obviously through story. And if you could, tell us about part of your transformation and tell us as much as you want to share about your personal mental and physical transformation that you partook in the last 6 months to a year. And maybe a lot of these agents can relate to it themselves and learn from that.
Sure. Again, I know it's easy to get caught up in your daily task, your challenges, your struggles, and your next thing you know, you're getting stressed out about this, you're getting stressed out about that. Hey, where's the next deal coming from? How am I going to do this? Again, I was challenged with a few things, and quite frankly, I let my physical fitness slide a little bit, and a little bit more than a little bit. But I really took ownership and accountability of it, because I really started dialing into, what do I truly want? What do I want to become? What do I really want to click and become myself? And, hopefully resonate and bring that message out to other people. And a lot of that has been happening in lieu of the mindset events that I've been involved with. And again, surrounding yourself with those like-minded people. My personal journey, though, just here in the last coming up on 6 months, I've actually taken 58 pounds off of my frame. So
58.
I was 58 pounds. 58
That's fantastic.
pounds.
Put some likes and comments in there for Mike. How many, it's funny, how many of us have struggled, not just with physical, issues with our own self-image, you know what I mean, and our own dynamics. But there's also a power, I know, in the collective, right? I know Lisa's on, Jana's on. There's a power in having that story resonate with other people. And I think people respect it. The more real, raw, and relevant we are, like you actually putting a number to that, I think showcases your commitment to yourself. And, I mean, for instance, I've had at least 5 people come up to me and say, wow, Mike is really looking good. Wow, Mike's really taking this seriously. Wow, he's really making this an important part of his life. And I think they respect not just you, but me associated with you even more, because they're like, how do we implement this type of mindset in other people? What were some of the things that you clicked that changed in your mindset to lose 58 pounds? I mean, that's crazy.
Well, the big thing again was just we all have it inside of ourselves, and you have to be real. You have to kind of wake up. I mean, we can kid ourselves. We can kind of like look in the mirror. Hey, I don't look that bad. And then, you get around people, you're out at social events, somebody kind of clicks a few pictures, you see some things get posted on social media, and that's fine and all good. But I mean, are you truly living your best life? Are you truly living in the best body that you have and what you can develop that to? And I was asking myself those questions, and I woke up, I took accountability to it. I said, I am not going to do this anymore. And, just started layering a lot of things. Again, it's the basic things. You have to get out and move every day. You have to move. You need to get up and, take the time. And it's not that hard to walk around the block for 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the morning. It clears your mind. It gets your blood flowing. And, it sets the pace of your day. And then the next thing you do, you just start stacking those habits with, the positive things that you're moving forward with on your schedule. I really dialed in on my nutrition. If you're not tracking what you're doing, that is a big, probably the biggest thing to change for me. I track my steps. I track my miles. I track the things that I put in my mouth. And when I'm out socially, I use an app called MyFitnessPal, and I'm able to track and monitor that. And that really dials me in. And, it's just an extra level of accountability. And you've got to be honest with yourself, because, there's another thing that we kind of like talk about in the health and fitness and wellness space. It's called ELBs. ELBs start adding up, every little bites. These little things here, these little things there. And I did that for years. If you really want something, you will start taking accountability of it. You'll change it. You'll reframe it. And you'll get around the like-minded people like Michael and other people that I've surrounded myself with.
I like that. And so what are some of your daily habits now that you've implemented, having been around like-minded people like myself, or like Ann, like Lisa, like Jana, like other people on the call? What are some of your daily habits that agents that may not know can take away and implement in their daily lives?
Definitely. So again, like I mentioned, it's not that hard to once that you rise from bed and get your day going, whatever it is. If you need that shot of caffeine through coffee or tea, or if you're just hydrating yourself, get out and start moving immediately within the first hour, 2 hours of waking. Otherwise, things are going to pop up. I can't do this. I can't do that. But, started tracking my miles again, did a lot of things here in the neighborhood. I go out on the various greenbelt trails that we have here through Phoenix and Scottsdale area. I hop on mountain hiking trails with Gateway Loop and Camelback Mountain. I have a very structured workout protocol. I don't go in and just do 2-a-days and just beat yourself up. I go in and I'm in and out of the gym within an hour and 10 minutes or less, and I know what I'm doing, and I have the accountability. I measure it, I track it. And I'm only strength conditioning, lifting weights 4 times a week, and I layer the steps in on there. And I average about 16 to 17,000 steps per day, and that accounts anywhere somewhere between 7 to 9 miles that I'm tracking every day and moving, and it feels great. And you know what? If I don't hit it in the morning, I know that it's important enough that I do it at night. So there have been several times, and I'm not afraid to mention it. I mean, I've gone out at 10:30 at night, and I've done another 3 or 4 loops just to kind of get my 16 to 17, and I've been pushing up closer to like 20,000 steps a day. Right. But you've got to put the work in. It's got to be important to you, because if you don't take your health serious, you can't enjoy the other things in life and be productive and do the things that you want to do to build your brand, to build your career, and to help others. That's what it's all about. It really is. You have to take accountability for yourself. Help yourself first before you help others.
I agree with that 100%. Now, here's another thing. So we talk about health. let's go into the physical now, because now that your health is dialed in, you have a really good, daily routine. You're stacking your habits and your fitness. You're understanding your caloric intake. You're doing those things. You're holding yourself accountable. How important is posting about it and doing the social media and taking photos of it and the stories in your success?
Oh, I think it's been phenomenal. I've had several people reach out to me, and I will say this: when I do this, and when other people do this, this is not me boasting or bragging
Right.
about, oh, look at all the great things that I'm doing. It is my way of having an extra layer of accountability that I have it and post it so that it's done.
That's right.
I layer that and stack that in stories. And I've been I've started to create and curate content that I believe is beneficial from the experiences that I've had, and I'd love to share that with my followership. And again, you're able to take some of my experiences and leverage it, and just take small steps and start implementing it into your life, and watch what happens.
I think Lisa has done a really good job of that. I know she's on the call and she's tagging me every single day in her bar class and all that stuff. So throw some likes in there for Lisa, because I know she's tagging you in a lot of this stuff too.
Definitely, she's doing an amazing job. She's going through a big transformation herself. We're very proud of her.
And more people, if you guys want to join the movement and do what we're doing, obviously, Mike is doing it at a whole nother level, which is really, transformational, and one of the reasons I wanted to get him on the call. But another thing is, I've talked for 23 weeks so far about this. I wanted to actually bring someone in that has implemented a lot of the protocol that we talked about. And one of the protocols that we've talked about that I know a lot of people have questions on, especially the guys and the gals, is wardrobe. What have you learned in the last 6 months to a year being around me in regards to wardrobe?
Wardrobe, how you show up, is very important. I know that I have a good style, and then when the way that I've dressed, I wore suits in the commercial real estate world. I'll tell you that I love a good blazer. I love to wear vests, but also when I carried the extra weight, let's be truthful here. I started hiding a lot of things, meaning like just wearing bulky or bigger clothes, and I got past that. I got past that identity issue, and then when the pound started falling off, I'm going, okay, let's sharpen this up a little bit more. It's really important to get clothes that fit you, because it makes you feel good, makes you look good, but the way you show up and the way you present yourself, it cannot be overstated. And Michael does help people and brief people on certain things, and things to kind of bring your look together and piece it. And again, it was things that I did know, but I also just kind of like layered it in, because it was an additional layer of accountability. He layered it in to what I was doing also, and it became a win-win situation.
Have you noticed, not only in losing of the weight, but even really putting in the attention to detail when you're out in public and you're curating your own brand? Have you noticed people treat you differently?
I believe it's just, the way you conduct yourself, the way that you have your confidence, it's just freer, easier to speak to people. So I have had a lot of people. Yeah, I've had a lot of people approach me because I do have an easy energy about myself, and I just enjoy engaging in conversations as well. But I have had people reach out to me, hey, you're doing an awesome job, on your stories. I love the content that you're putting on Instagram. I love your stories, and it mirrors into Facebook also. And I said, well, I really appreciate that. It gives you a good feeling, and you're doing something right, and it's, you never know who you're going to touch, and people are always watching. That's something also that many of you have probably heard. They may not always comment, they may not always like, But and I have. With that being said, I've had several people, being out in social settings or being at a restaurant that I haven't seen, and they're going, "Man, I've been like watching you on Facebook, man. This is like really incredible. Like what you're doing and stuff." And in the back of my head, I'm going, "Hey, have I seen them interact?" And not necessarily, but they're interacting with me right then and there, and that's a good thing. And it just builds, extra layers of confidence, and it's just a great thing. It's a great thing to help other people and see, what you're doing is benefiting somebody else, and they really enjoy that.
So now, if these agents that are listening in, maybe they're having some of the issues that you've had, what are some of the takeaways that you've learned in regards to, your physical transformation and your wardrobe transformation that you can help relate to them? What are some of the takeaways, the golden nuggets, if you had to summarize it in a sentence or two?
I was actually thinking about this earlier today, and actually last night. But you know, a lot of times people have, and again, I'm going to repeat myself, we have limiting beliefs. You have these little voices in your head going, why are you doing this? Why don't you just kind of settle in? You're okay. You're doing this. And then you've got the other people, that are chirping in your ear. You hear these things. Why do you want to do that? You don't want to really do that. Why don't you just kind of settle it? And those are the type of people who, that if you let them, in your head, they're going to stay in your head, and they're going to create, it's going to compound limiting beliefs. And you ultimately have to ask yourself, why don't I want to do something? Why don't I want to move forward? Why don't I want to change my life? Why don't I want to feel better? And when you ask yourself those questions, you'll be amazed at what the answers will come in your head. So you really have to have the courage to move forward and do something about what you truly want. Because a lot of times in life, people just settle. They just do the basic things. Oh, I just need to do this. I'm okay. It's just this. It's just that. But when you really sharpen up the things and create, what I like to call, and the type of people that I've been around in these mindset groups and mindset forums, you really have to sharpen and refine what you truly want. And it needs to be in a positive standpoint. What I mean by that is, many people, when you're experiencing challenges, will go, you know what, I don't want this, and I don't want that. I don't want this to happen. What I have been learning is that when you layer that type of language, whether you're verbally speaking it or thinking it in your head, your subconscious mind is a powerful tool, and it's picking up that. And so it's going to thrive on what you don't want, and it's going to give you that which you don't want. When you change it and phrase it of, I want this, I'm doing this, I'm moving forward, there's a lot of power in that. And so I would challenge the listeners and the viewers who are seeing this to really shape up things and refine and revise the things that you want and you yearn for. And there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So don't let someone come in and say, what kind of crazy thinking is that? I have watched many people transform, here over the last couple of years that I have started aligning myself with, because it's the like-mindedness. And when you have that power, it's amazing the changes that you will see that will happen, not only in your personal life, your physical life, but in your business life also, in your relationships.
Yeah, it's funny you say all that, because I think it's parallel to, do you follow Stormy Daniels at all?
I started following her through my exposure here through EXP, and she's an incredible story. If you guys haven't heard hers, and I know that she was one of the speakers out at GrowthCon a few weeks ago out in Miami, which you guys were out, you and Ramon went to. But yes, I have started following
it's
her.
Interesting about her. I mean, here's a person who came from the streets, drugs and stripping and all this stuff, and now is a multi-millionaire and very successful in the MLM space. But one of the things she talked about, I think you actually hit on, Mike, that is so true, is something that she says, the 3 S's. And at different stages of our life, yeah, Stormy Wellington, yep, different stages of our life, we're different things. And she says you're either the seed, you're the soil, or you're the saboteur. And I thought, that's interesting because when we're in a situation, when our relationship first started, Mike, right? I was the soil, you were the seed, and a lot of the other people in these periphery dynamics are the saboteurs, right? Saying, oh, EXP sucks. This sucks. You're never going to lose weight. You're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. We constantly have all these saboteurs orbiting in our lives, right? We call them orbiters. And whether we allow them to come in or not is really the sanctity of our futures. And if we allow negativity like a poison to enter our lives, it will sabotage our minds, it'll sabotage our speech, which in turn will sabotage our futures. But when you really have, like you talk about, which is why I love your story, great soil, great intention, a great seed, and you're surrounding yourself with like-minded positive people like everyone on this podcast, sky's the limit. And you're only hitting a fraction of what your potential is. You and I both know it, you know what I mean? And I think that's the exciting component. The next thing I want to talk about, which is Millionaire brand creation, we want to talk about marketing. How important in the last year have you learned that marketing and social media is to your business?
Marketing and the leverage, the power of leverage is huge in this business. How do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself? You just have to you have to take that brave step forward and be courageous, because the things that I again have known this, but it's just reinstituting it and reinstalling the thought patterns, and then making the thought patterns actually become daily actions and daily behaviors. The marketing is critical. Building your story that you want to share with the world, and let it be real, let it be authentic, and be proud of it, because that is what is going to differentiate you, in this world and this large mecca of agents, all around in our area and the country. But the thing about it is that when you align yourself with the right people such as Michael, you will see how far that you can be stretched outside of your comfort zone. And when you just start layering that with consistency, then your competence levels will start rising. You'll start becoming more competent at the skills. You'll start speaking better. You'll start conducting yourself, in a way flowing in public. And then the last part of that is that with that consistency, it builds the competence, and then the massive confidence comes with that at the end. And the confidence will continue to grow, weeks on weeks. And then you'll leverage that, and you'll watch the type of people who'll be drawn to you, and you'll be able to help those people too, and have these little nuggets and just drop them. So social media marketing is extremely powerful.
I think the story game, how many of you listening in, I don't know if Lisa, Jana, Ann, if you're still on, how many of you have really implemented what we've talked about in these previous weeks? How many of you, put in the like section or the comment section, have your 15 to 20 second elevator pitch and story? I'm curious to see how many of you have actually implemented that. Now, here's the $1 million question, Mike. What's your story? If I were in a room with you and I asked you, what do? How would you respond? Putting you on the spot now.
Put me on the spot.
See how much you learned here.
Yeah. I value, develop, and broker luxury properties here in Phoenix and Scottsdale.
So interesting word choice. Develop luxury properties in Phoenix and Scottsdale. Okay. All right. So then the next question is, you want to know more, right? I mean, I think we can tweak it even better, because I think a lot of that, a lot of your story, having gotten to know you over the past year and a half, and I think a lot of you listening in as well, which is really a glue that binds a lot of people together now, is the health journey. My biggest reverence for you has been your commitment and your consistency on your own personal health journey. And I think that's a story that really resonates with a lot of people. How many of you listening in resonate with a health journey? Because now more than ever, I almost think people really respect it even more. I've noticed that myself. Like, no one even talks to me anymore about real estate. Yeah, Lisa gets it. I mean, they're like, I already know you do real estate, but tell me about you. Tell me about what you're doing that's different. And I think what you've accomplished, in all honesty, is it's pretty cool. And I'm confident that you'll consistently, push that ball forward and continue that journey. But our whole mentality is, how do we help impact others in doing the same? Because I've always said, right, every day there's 3 components of life. One is health, because if you're in bad health, wealth and the journey means nothing, because you're dead, right? You're on your deathbed, you're immobile, you're not living your best life. The second, which people don't understand, is people. And you've always been a gregarious person, you've always been interactive, but I think having that health journey and having that health story helps you become a larger attractor of people, because they respect it, they appreciate it, and they want to know more about it. So that I would almost implement in your story that journey as, I'm going through a really interesting part in time in my life where health has become a really big part of my awareness and my business. And people are going to say, what do you mean by that? And they're going to say, well, I lost 58 pounds. It's been a total transition in my life. I'm with an amazing brokerage. I'm with an amazing team. And that has really catapulted me into the luxury space, where now I'm even more excited and enthusiastic about luxury real estate. Right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
I mean, isn't that a more captivating story? Because it's the truth. That's you. Yeah. So I would really implement. And I think a lot of people, the 3 R's, right? Real, raw, and relevant, which you are. But we always try to hide something back. We want to leave something back. We want to leave something more to ourselves. When I think the biggest draw into people is the journey and the story. Like, you losing 58 pounds, I couldn't lose 58 pounds. I don't know a lot of people on this planet that could successfully and keep it off. Yeah. But then the dedication and the motivation of taking that component and now implementing it and helping others with it in the luxury space in real estate is a story that resonates. You know what I mean? And in the social media space, our stories now become our brand, right? I mean, how many of us, when we walk into a room, Ann, Jana, Lisa, Patrick, everyone knows this story. What's the first question people ask you when you walk into a room? Type in the comment section if you know the answer to this one. I know they do. It's a trick question, but I'm always curious to hear if they remember. What's the first question someone asks you when you walk into a room? Who's gonna be the first one to comment on here? Jana, Ann, Lisa. Who's the brave one? Mike?
I'll speak up. It's a variation.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor? That's Matt Culhane. No. Okay, what is it, Mike?
What do you do for a living?
What do you do? How are your workouts going? I love your posts. So why is that question so important? Why is that question so important, knowing what you know? What do you do? Jana got it right.
Yep. You know what? I'm going to layer something in here, and it's human nature. Whenever you walk into a room, whenever you walk into any type of situation, it is human nature. People are judging you the moment you step in, the first few seconds, and how you show up and how you present yourself. Are you kind of coming in as are you kind of like slouched and dropped down? Are you kind of like just turning your head? Are you making eye contact with people? Are you not making eye contact with people? But once you start engaging in those conversations, of course, people just want to know, hey, so what do you do for a living? And I like to kind of like get to know the person and engage in the conversation to a degree. That's pretty, in our American culture, it's pretty aggressive, but it's almost like a common place that many people just lead into that, within the first minute or less. So,
why psychologically they do that?
It's to defer any attention that's on them, so that they can put the attention on the other person is what I would answer, how I would answer that question. But you're going to layer it a little bit differently, I'm sure.
Well, really, what it is a time saver. So people, when they're introduced to someone that they don't know and they don't know anything about, instantly they call that a qualifying question, right? We've talked about this over and over and over. And what they're really trying to ask you is, why should I know you? Why should I know you, Lisa? Why should I know you, Janet? Why should I know you, Matt? Why should I know you, Patrick? Why should I know you, Mike? And when you think of it in your mind as that question, and you take it as an opportunity to glow and talk about your story and your journey and the excitement that you're just putting out in the world, it changes the whole trajectory of the game, because you almost have like a cheat sheet almost as to, this is the way it's going to go. I see into the future, right? It's almost Inception. I know how this play is going to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So knowing that, let's play another little game. If I said, and you walk into a room now and I asked you, what do you do? How are you going to respond now? Let's hear it.
He loves to put it on the fun.
A lot of people are watching now. Don't let me down.
Exactly. Don't let it down. Oh my goodness. I would just. I mean, I don't mean to dance around. I mean, I would just start talking about. I just enjoy meeting people. I know that sounds very, very bland, but I love to broaden my horizons, perspectives, and let me share you a little bit about what I've done, how I've changed my life, like what you layered in there, probably about 10 minutes or so ago. That I've really stepped up here at the table, taken accountability on my health. I've changed a lot of things with my metrics and my numbers, and I feel incredible. And it's allowed me to partner with some, incredible people in the real estate space with this amazing company. And, how's that for an elevator pitch? Just kind of like a curveball there, Mr. Banovac.
It's better.
Okay. All right.
No, it's good.
All right.
It's good. And that's the thing. Like, I was talking about this morning, actually, with someone that's important to me. And we were talking about, how do you sell? I think a lot of people, it's very difficult. And the hardest thing to sell is yourself, right? How many of you have had difficulty walking into a room, and like our last situation, right? In our last episode, walk into a room and own it. How many of us have had a hard time walking into a room full of strangers and selling ourselves? Be honest now. I have. Have you, Mike?
Most definitely.
Why do you think that's so hard?
I believe that we have levels of fear. We don't want to be judged. Hey, what if I say the wrong thing? You can't say the wrong thing. That's the thing about it is you've heard that in your life before. You just it's gotta be reinforced. You have fear, you have doubt, you have disbelief. It's like, oh, I'm not good enough to kind of like talk to these people or this and that. No, just be yourself, like Michael is saying, and I am too. Be authentic, be real. You never know what's going to resonate when you start finding those little small things to talk about. It can be life changing. You can level up, you can leverage up, and again, watch what happens when you entertain those conversations.
You know what people pay the most money for? You know why people pay us hundreds of thousands of dollars to sell expensive properties? I'm going to tell the secret. How many of you want to know the secret? Type in the comment section. Lisa, do you want to know? I'll give them 5 seconds. 5, 4. Oh yeah. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. People want assuredness. They want to know without a doubt that you are 100% confident in whatever it is that you're selling. You are 100% confident in yourself, and you are 100% confident that what you're telling them is better for them and will help the buyer or the seller, the guy or the girl, the person be better because of you or because of the product. And when you have assuredness in your life and you're confident in your story, right? And you know exactly who you are and you know exactly why it gives people value, your whole story changes. And it's no longer, you're not trying to sell them. You're not trying to convince them. Now they are paying you a lot of money. They are using you for your services. They are using you to, curate content or to buy and sell their home or to be a partner with you because you are giving them certainty and assuredness. I had a conversation with the clients the other day. It was very interesting. And it was funny. They were trying to rationalize why in the luxury end, if you're selling high-end houses, this is really interesting takeaway because I know a lot of agents are listening in. If you ever look at houses right now in the Arizona market, 600,000 or less, what are some of the commission splits? 2%, 2.25%, 2.5%, right? Is that common? Type in the comment section if that's common. Now, when you look at the very high end, what are some of the commission splits? 3%, right? Very rarely are you going to see a reduced commission split. Why? Right? No one seems to understand why that is. And I was telling a client the other day, I said that why that is because you're paying me 90 or 120,000 on that one transaction is because without a doubt and with 100% certainty, something in this transaction is going to go wrong. I can tell you that without a doubt. Someone's going to yell at someone. Someone's going to throw someone on the Binzer. Something's going to go wrong. There's going to be a rat infestation in the garage. There's going to be termites. There's going to be the roof collapsing in. There's going to be an AC unit that went out the day of the inspection. Something's going to go wrong. Now, for that money, you are paying me with 100% certainty that I will do everything in my power to make sure that deal will go through. And I am selling you confidence, I'm selling you certainty, and I'm selling you assuredness. And when you say that to yourself and you say that to your client, where without a doubt, I know I'm going to get this deal done on your behalf and you're going to come out ahead, they're going to pay you. And they're going to pay you every single time, like a coaching client. I had a harder time selling a client a $100 package 8 years ago than I do now selling a client a $10,000 package for the exact same thing. And that's where it's interesting about sales, is because as you do these things that you're doing, Mike, and you don't even know you're doing them, but losing this weight, right? Being more confident, being a better marketer, being a better dresser, what is that doing on your scale of certainty?
It's leveling up. It's showing people that he's the guy. He knows his stuff.
You're the guy. You're becoming more assured, and now there's less doubt. And when there's less doubt, and this is why I think it's so important for these listeners to understand, when there's no doubt in your pitch, there's no doubt in your tonality, there's no doubt in your wardrobe, there's no doubt in your professionalism, there's no doubt in your physical stature, there's no doubt in yourself. That's finally when you start realizing the results that you always wanted for yourself. When there's doubt, there's uncertainty. Where there's uncertainty, there's failure.
That's very well said, Michael. That's correct.
And that's the problem. I think that's the hardest thing in sales. People don't understand is you have to create certainty in a time of uncertainty. Now, that being said, how many of you like this so far? How many of you like Mike? Type in the comment section. Are you enjoying our interview with Mike and seeing his transformation? Now here, having said all these things, right? Having your physical transformation, having more elements into your wardrobe, what are some of the things that you can give to the audience as far as like pointers that are the takeaways that you think will help them in their business? Like if you were talking to Brennan, Lisa, Patrick, Ann directly, and you said, this is what I've learned in my own journey in the last year, what would it be?
Absolutely, without a hesitation. You must invest in yourself. Yes, you can buy nice things. Yes, you can buy luxurious things, but that's not going to give you what Michael and I are talking about right now. It's not going to give you the return on the investment of yourself back into the public. You need to invest in yourself. And what I mean by that, you need to start learning of how to go all in on your mindset, on your physical fitness. And when you do that, things will start leveling up and changing in the most incredible ways, I promise you. But the thing about it is, is that you have to have the courage to step forward and do that. And what happens, again, in order to have that courage, you have got to say absolutely. You've got to essentially burn the bridges of negative thinking that you've had in the past and go, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to step up. I'm going to move forward. And when you start doing this, I've heard another thing, that slow is the fastest way to get where you want to go. You have to take the time. You have to slow down. So many people go, oh, I want it so fast. I want it quick. I wanted it yesterday. But exactly what Michael said, I'll layer it again and echo what he's saying. You have to do these small things, these daily deposits that we talk about that give you the return on your investment. When you invest in yourself and you learn more about yourself, and you change the way you think, and you get involved in really, really good mindset mastermind programs, sky is the limit, people. I'm telling you. Your life can change. It can change much faster than what you want to believe it is.
I agree with that.
Very
100%.
powerful.
Yeah. And the only way to become successful, I'm just telling you guys, is twofold. One, you have to leverage people, number one, and or you have to leverage passive income through assets that help leverage people. And that's the only way to become successful. And until you finance yourself and until you invest in yourself, like Mike, you're doing a great job of doing, and so many of you on here have that journey that's very similar, there's no way to get ahead. Until you look at yourself in the mirror dead on and say, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not so good at, this is what I'm really bad at, and stop lying to yourself and being totally honest and saying, shit, I really need to change this stuff around. And then document the journey, document the transformation, bring friends in. I mean, what was the biggest, see, here's the takeaway. Everyone wants to attract agents, right? So let's give them some secrets that we're doing on our end, Mike, that I think these agents can help on their downline. How many of you want to attract more agents to your downline? I've always thought this is interesting. Now, since implementing this only like the last 2 days, I brought on 2 agents in 2 days, okay, doing this. So I know it's working. And this is what's so exciting, right? Lisa wants to know, Brennan wants to know. But let's tell them a couple of steps that we're doing, Mike, that I think will help them in their ability to attract and become better in their business. You think that'll be helpful to them?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So one, I think the biggest word that is the takeaway, and would you agree with this, Mike, is the power of collaboration. What does collaboration mean to you?
That is a very powerful word that is definitely, you're going to hear that more and more in our industry, in our space, is that you've got to take your ego out of the business. If you're doing that right now, it's the me first and everybody else second. So you really, again, it's part of the layering, it's part of the stacking, it's part of knowing your colleagues and reaching out to them, taking interest in what they're doing, and real interest, really authentic interest. Don't go in and bullshit someone and just, blow smoke up the rear. I mean, really look at the things that other people are doing in other areas of the country. They can still be here in Arizona. You can look at people in Utah. You can look at people in Florida. You can look at people in Tennessee. Reach out and just look at the different things they're doing on social media. Look at things on LinkedIn, and look at the content that they're creating. Take an active role and really compliment those people if it's something that clicks with you and resonates with you. Reach out to them, and you'll be surprised the feedback that you'll get. And when there is substance behind it, when there's substance behind it, you will get an engaging conversation.
And that's why I wanted to reward these people the last 10 minutes that stayed on, because they thought all this was a Mike Hill fest about how great you are, telling everyone how great I am. But this is the money-making game, and that's why it's so important and why I respect Mike so much is the daily transformations you're making in yourself, you're already seeing the payoffs. But what you're really going to see is in the next 5 to 10 years, how those daily deposits change the whole trajectory of your life completely. Even Ann's on the call, right? That little deposit of you buying that rental house and you doing it over and over and over is going to change the whole trajectory of your life. So this is what we're doing, and I think it really works. And this is why Mike hit it on a great head, the power of collaboration. So if you're an agent, Lisa, Jana, Ann, everyone listening in, anyone can do this, and it will work in the long term. The first is open up with a heart of collaboration. If you see someone that you like, maybe it's an agent, maybe it's a buyer or seller, someone that's an influencer, right? Someone that's doing something that you respect. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm Lisa, I'm Ann, I'm Mike, I'm Michael, I'm Patrick, I'm Brennan. I really love your content, love your profile, like your whole image. I think you're a cool dude or a cool gal. I'd love to collaborate with you. Are you open to a phone call? Now, depending on your own self-marketing and your own self-identity and the power of social currency, which we've talked about in the past, that will dictate your success rate in this first step, right? If you have a lot of followers, if you have great content, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. So for me, I have about an 80% rate on that first step. Maybe if you're just starting out, it's a 20 or 30%, but that's better than 0, right? Would we all agree?
Correct.
The next step is when you get on that call, you do not EXP on them. How many of you have heard that term? I saw that the other day. Oh, EXP, you got to join EXP. If I hear more of these shitty pitches, I am literally going to jump off Camelback Mountain. You cannot try to sell someone on something they themselves haven't already sold. What you have to do instead is say, hey, I'm Michael, I'm Ann, I'm Jana, I'm Lisa. Wanted to get to know you. Tell me about yourself. What are you doing? What excites you? What are you doing in the business? What's your niche? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your pets. Tell me about things that really resonate with you, right? And they're going to talk. Everyone loves talking about themselves. Oh, I'm a New Mexico agent. I'm a buyer in Gilbert. I'm a buyer in Chandler. I'm really interested in this and this. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. How can I help you do whatever it is that you're doing? How can I collaborate with you? Can I get you on a podcast? Can I introduce you to a friend of mine? Do you need a painter? Do you need an electrician? Do you need someone to help you with your social media? What can I do? Do you need golf lessons? I want to have some golf lessons, Mike. Maybe you can offer that to some of these people.
Okay.
Right?
We could do that.
What are we good at? What is unique to us? Everyone has their unique qualities that make you special. Everyone on this call. What can you do to help them, right? To promote them, to get them in front of more eyes, to cross-pollinate your followership and get them excited about what you're doing. You're not asking them for anything. It's the giver's mentality. You give 10 times before you ask for one thing. Then what happens, right? They start to like you. They're your friend, right? They start to interact with you more. They're commenting more on your stuff. They're saying, oh, yeah, I'd love for you to come on my podcast. I'd love to come on your podcast. Offer them genuine, authentic value. You said that really well, Mike. Like, have a genuine interest in their success, right? And then after you do that, don't sell them yet. Invite them in person. Meet them in person. Talk to them in person. Oh, we have this dance party I'd love you to go to. We have this racing party I'd love for you to go to. We have this magazine event I'd love for you to go to. We have this Grant Cardone event I'd love for you to go to. We have this event I'd love for you to go to. And it's interesting, Mike. You were at the Grant Cardone event. Lisa was there. Ann was there. Jana, were you there? Brennan? All these people, a lot of them were there, right? How many people came up to you, Mike, and said, oh, hey, it's nice meeting you. I've seen you on whatever. It's good to put a face to the name.
Definitely. About 9 or 10 people came up to me.
9 or 10 people, right? And that's because you're doing something right? People are taking notice. They're taking notice of your transformation. They're taking notice of what you're doing. They're taking notice of all these things. Lisa did it too, right? You're implementing a lot of the things that we're talking about. You're using that collaboration mentality. And now people are part of the energy. Oh, man, this is really cool. Lisa's cool. Ann's cool. Mike's cool. I got to know Jana. They have that energy inside of them. Once they have that energy, and once you've established that authentic connection, then what you can do is, if you have a great marketing platform, You've created a robust CRM, or maybe you're just starting out from scratch. Maybe you're like us and we're like, we don't even know technology, but we know this shit works. We're going to learn a CRM to do this, but we know the game. And you put together a video, maybe a video of Mike, maybe a video of you, Lisa, maybe a video of you, Ann, saying, hey, this is EXP. This is our community. This is our team. This is why I'm excited. This is why it helped change my life. This is why, if this resonates with you, I'd love for you to join me and join our journey of success, right? And you send them that video and you say, hey, you know, Jack, Jana, whatever name you got. You say, hey, I've really enjoyed, you know, getting to know you over these past couple weeks or couple months or whatever. I wanted to send you something and just get your opinion on it. You know, this has really helped change the trajectory of my life. Does this resonate with you at all? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What do you think we should change? What's your opinion? Right? Now, what you've done differently in that interaction and those succession points, and I hope you rewatch this and go back and do this again, is what have you done? You've become assured, right? You have social proof. You're in an environment where they go, Mike's the man, Lisa's the woman, Ann's the girl. These people are socially cool. They're bringing me value. They're doing authentic things to build my personal brand. They're helping me. I've made more money knowing them. I like them. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do this. Oh, we're not right now. I don't want to join right now. Maybe 6 months from now. Let me think about it. And what happens, right? You planted that seed, right? Seed, soil, saboteur. And so now that seed is planted in a genuine, authentic way. Now that seed is planted with the soil of true friendship and community around them, helping water that seed and letting it grow. And what happens? A month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months comes around. You're not selling them. You're not calling them going, hey, did you get the video? Did you? No. You're just letting it grow. Letting it grow, seeing what they're missing out on, seeing how consistent of a friend you are, seeing how authentic you are, seeing how you're really interacting and helping those people like we're doing on the call. Sure enough, like clockwork, those calls come back and, hey, are you still, are you still with EXP? Hey, you know, I'm really thinking about changing a brokerage. Can I join you? Can we meet for lunch? I kid you not. That's a whole different game. I mean, what do you think about that dynamic, Mike? Do you think that'll help the agents listening in?
It's an incredible dynamic because the quality of the collaboration that you want to attract and that you're engaging in and you're being authentic about, you have to become that person in order to attract those type of people. That's the long game. That's the long game. You have to do the things that hopefully that I've shared with you. You have to stack your daily doses, do these things on a daily basis. You have to become a new, better, different, just an extraordinary person to attract those extraordinary people because likeness attracts likeness. Greatness wants to run with greatness. Bottom line, you've got to learn also to start doubting your doubts. That's the one thing that I would like to say that I would leave with you on this. Learn to doubt your doubts because when you do that, you level up, you grow, you collaborate. You're going to bring so much growth into your sphere and just watch what happens with your life and watch what happens with your business.
I like that. Now, we have a couple minutes. Does anyone have any questions for myself or for Mike or for all the information that basically we just threw at you? Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it or you have any questions, please type in the comment section or like the video. If you have questions for Mike, in the meantime, Mike, where can they follow you? Where can they follow your journey? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way to reach me is you can reach out direct voice to voice or text at 602-625-9977. You can reach me on Instagram if you're not already following me or part of our followership at _Mike.Hill_. And then you can find me on Facebook, same name also, Mike Hill in Scottsdale, Arizona.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. If you have any questions for me and Mike, and I'm telling you, run this play. If you're having a problem, creating and bringing people into your sphere, it's because you lack the assuredness and certainty within yourself. And when I look at my life and I look at all the times that I've failed, which is many, and will continue to be many, right? People don't judge us on our failures. They judge us on our few successes, right? But as soon as you have that assuredness in your life and you're not trying to sell someone, but instead you're trying to collaborate with someone, bring authentic friendship, bring authentic, goodness into their lives and give them more than you're taking, it's almost a no-brainer. I mean, they're going to want to be a part of your life in some way or another. And the more people that you have in your orbit, the more positive energy that you have circulating and percolating around your business and around your personal brand, the more people want to jump on the boat and join the fun. I mean, don't you believe that, Mike?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Most definitely.
You have a takeaway before we take
I hope
off?
that we brought I hope that we brought value to the viewers and the listeners here today. And again, I want to appreciate and thank Michael for having me on and hosting this. But again, become the person that you want to attract. And that can be, again, in your personal relationship. But again, we're talking about business and brand creation and brand growth. You have to level up and take those daily steps. Start doubting your doubts. Learn to doubt your doubts and watch where you go. I promise you, you'll thank yourself for this in the long term, and you'll be able to grow with us. We'll grow with you, and we'll blow this up, and we're going to have a great time doing it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because that resonates with the last quote of my book, which is, it was funny because a really good mentor of mine once said, he's like, you're never the best version of yourself you want to be. Rather, you are the lowest version of yourself you're willing to accept. What will you accept in your life? And when you only accept greatness, which is a really rocky road because there'll be a lot of failures strung along the way, but if you keep going, you keep believing in yourself, you keep surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people, you keep adding to the level of assuredness in yourself, everything else takes care of it, because people want to be around those people, right? Yeah, coin the phrase "doubt your doubts." I like that. So Lisa, you got Mike Hill. Got to copyright that one. Well, hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday. If you enjoyed this, please share it. If you haven't already, please follow Mike. And hope you guys have a very productive week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
Thank you again, Michael.
Bye-bye.